Hey everyone, it's been a second since I did a voiceover in a video, so I figured it was time. We're just gonna go through my process in making a logo for a business. The name is at the top here. And so the first thing that we're going to do is just sketch out some ideas that I have based off of the name itself. So I drew, for reference, the basic medical symbol, and then I tried to incorporate the S and the F into that symbol, but I didn't quite like what I was doing with that. So then I moved on just to the letters S and F, and then I tried to incorporate group, the word group, into that. And when I looked it up, the most commonly used symbol for group seemed to be those two dots with the little squiggles for arms. So I tried working with that, and I did that in a few different ways. The other thing was the word authorization. The only symbol I could come up with to represent that would be the check mark, so I tried to do that in a few different ways. And then I realized that the S could be an infinity symbol, which I thought was kind of perfect because the F in SF stands for Finnerty, which is an Irish last name, but it kind of sounds like infinity. And so once I realized that, I started thinking, oh, I should use some Irish symbols and see if I can come up with a logo based on that. And I do know that there is another brand that uses the Celtic knot, but I thought if it looks different, it might work. I don't know. So I started branching off on ideas with that. But they didn't seem to work out too well because the one I realized ended up looking like a Nazi symbol, and I don't think you want a Nazi symbol in your logo. The toughest thing about logos is making sure they don't remind you of something that you don't want them to remind you of. You don't want someone looking at your logo thinking about Nazis when you are trying to help people medically. So I did a few more different design sketches to see if I could get away from that Nazi symbol, because I really wanted the Celtic knot thing to work. I thought it went well with the name, and I thought I could do like the S for infinity thing at the same time. I don't know. So that was my thought process there, but in the end it didn't end up working out, so I ended up trying to go back to an older idea with a different sketch I had already done on the medical thing. And I decided I wouldn't use this sketch as just a reference, I would try to make a design out of it. And really I just cleaned it up a bit and then put an S and the F on each side. I was just trying to see what that idea would be like, but I didn't really like that at all. It just seemed unoriginal to me. I wanted to come up with something more on my own. So yeah, I put the ones that I liked in the corner just to separate them out and see if the owner would like any of them. The notes are so I can save the picture and send the file over. This is the one that she ended up liking the best, so I started to elaborate on it a little bit more and clean it up in my paint program, but I realized I was getting a little ahead of myself because I wanted to do a few more adjustments to the design and see which she liked best, because I wasn't completely set on that one right away. Not to say that there was anything wrong with the original, but it's just good to have a few options that they can go over. So I just did a few minor adjustments to it a few times, and then she ended up liking the original, like with the flat bottom. So I started finalizing it like I tried doing before. The little notes are just little things that she was requesting, so I could keep it in mind as I was drawing. And then for the cards thing, that's because I have to make the business cards later on. So now I'm just going over and making it look a little bit more polished, as good as I can in my paint program, because I don't exactly use the pen tool in it. Later on I'm going to have to take this final design into Illustrator, depending on if she wants any changes to it. And she seemed to like it, so once I get this all straightened out and looking more like what I kind of want the logo to end up looking like, I'm going to go in and mess with the colors, because as you can see she wanted like a green and a black, so I was going to do a few different versions of those two colors in different places just to see what works better, because I wasn't really sure off the bat. So here are all the different versions that I was coming up with here. I made as many different versions as I could think of, even if I didn't necessarily like the idea. It's just important to get all of my options out here on the table so I could see which one she thought she wanted to go more in the direction of, and then I can finalize it more so after that. So I'm just going to make a few more color variations real quick, and then I'm going to number them, and then I'm going to send the file off to her and see which one she likes the best so I can get a better understanding of the direction that we're going to go in. So these were the 3 that she ended up liking the best, which wasn't a problem. I can work off that. So the next step is to throw them into Illustrator and see if I have any other adjustments to make at all before completing the final version. But I figured I'd make a few different final versions and then we can just see which one we liked the best. And these are the final versions that we came up with. The middle one is the main logo, and then the 2 on the sides are for different situations, choosing correlation with it. And our final decision had a lot to do with the meaning that came across based on the different colors. I will put that information in the description below for those of you interested. But otherwise, I hope you guys found this video helpful or insightful, and thank you for watching. I will see you guys next week.